This is Excel 2016, Module 3, Part 7. In this video, we will take a look at a logical function, the if statement. So with this if statement, you have three parts that you have to determine. The first one, the logical test, that's the decision. It determines what you will do. It's kind of like a fork in the road. Am I going to go left or right? It depends on the answer. The value if true and the value if false are what you will do depending on what the answer is to your logical test or your decision. So in our example, we're going to be looking at the cumulative GDD that we calculated for each day. If that value is greater than or equal to the maturity GDD for that corn hybrid that we used, then you want it to say yes in the cell, that it is ready for harvest. If it is not true or false, then the cell should read no. So you can see the formula here, the way we will have it in there. There's a couple things to note. If you are asked to leave a cell blank, two quotes with nothing in between leaves the cell blank. If you put two quotes with a space in between, as it shows here, that actually leaves a space in the cell. And while it may appear blank, it is not blank because it is storing a space. So make sure you distinguish between those two options, especially in homework. And then also, if you use text in a function, like we did to have it display yes or no, text values must be enclosed in quotes inside a formula or function. So if you looked at this particular if statement in a diagram, you can see that you have a decision. The decision you have to make, or the logical test, is the question: is the cumulative GDD greater than or equal to the maturity GDD? With Excel, you do have to type both symbols, one after the other, if you're using greater than or equal to, or less than or equal to. Now, if the answer to that question is yes, then you want to display the word yes in the cell. And if it is not true, if the answer is no, then you're going to put the word no. So let's take a look at how we can accomplish this in our actual Wingate worksheet. So we're going to start out in K5. This is asking us, is the harvest ready? So we're going to go under our formulas, under logical, and you're going to choose if. Again, I encourage you to use these function argument boxes. I think it makes it easier because it does give you hints and descriptions. So we are going to be looking at the cumulative GDD, and we want to see if that is greater than or equal to the maturity GDD. Now we are going to be copying this formula down into the other cells in the column. So we do need to look at this and see if each of these references should be absolute or relative. So the first reference, when I'm looking at this day's cumulative GDD, when I copy it to day 2, I want to look at the cumulative JD for day 2. So therefore this one needs to be relative. However, the maturity GDD, which is stored in B18, that is only in one cell. It's not going to move, so I need that cell reference to be absolute. The value, if true, should be the word yes. You want to make sure, since it's text, you put it in quotes. And on homework, you want to make sure you type it exactly the way it is typed in the homework. So if it is up or lower, that's the way you need to do it. If it's all lower or if it's all caps, that is how you would need to type it. The other nice feature of using these dialog boxes is notice that it's filling in the punctuation for me. I never had to tell it to do the parentheses or the commas. It's filling those in for me. I only have to do punctuation within each argument box. So if no is going to be in quotes, then that is what it needs to read inside that box. Once you're done, you click OK. And the answer here is no. We can copy this formula down, and we'll go all the way down to the last day. And what we're looking for is the first time it says yes. So at this point on 9/5, it is in fact ready for harvest. Now the last thing we're going to do is we're going to use the VLOOKUP to locate for us when the first time it says yes is. Because I don't want to have to scroll down and keep looking for it. I want Excel to do that search for me. So in B21, we are going to do another VLOOKUP. You could use recently used functions and locate it there. You could also have used this insert function as well to find it. But this time, instead of having a value that we typed in, we want Excel to find a yes. The table that we are looking for it in is columns K and whoops. Sorry about that. We need to tab down to the next box for the table array. And we're going to include the table being K and L. I want this to return the value in column 2. And it is false for a exact match. When you click OK, it then returns the first instance of yes that it finds. So let's go ahead and save this. And then let's take a look at what different hybrids would cause. Okay, so if I changed and said, all right, this time I am going to use hybrid CS6538. Notice the yield, stalk height, maturity, and harvest date all changed based on that information. If I did CS6489, you can see again that information would all change. That's the beauty of the VLOOKUPs. Whatever value you type in here, it automatically brings back all the correct answers, uses this information to determine the harvest date. So that takes care of our if statement. Again, you want to remember there are three components: the logical test or the decision, what you're going to do if that logical test answer is true, and what you're going to do if that logical test answer is false. You will see if statements again, and you will see much more complex ones. We will be doing if statements this semester that have a second if statement embedded within it. You will also be doing if statements that have more than one logical test. And so you will want to make sure that you understand these if statements because you will see them again.